Sorry, I had to do that. I had to do that just once. I'm stupid, I know. This video is going to be a little bit talking about, in general, Derrida's politics of friendship as a whole. Talking about politics and how there really isn't a whole lot of that going on here. The community and friendship, and also the enemy, of course. Talking about the book in its whole and the deconstructive concepts of politics behind it. If you understand Derrida's deconstruction at all, I mean, you really can't, but if you have any kind of somewhat small kind of grip on it, then you will know that there's not going to be really any fixatedness. There's not really going to be anything that's going to maintain a kind of politics at all, or kind of law, or any kind of democracy or politics or anything like that. He's not like Marx, where Marx gives you a communist schema for how the government should work and how politics should work. To him, politics is just that there is the friend and that there is the enemy. That we all do have to kind of live here, and we all have to kind of be together. However, we can't have any kind of fixated politics wherein we will efficiently always keep the enemy out and keep the friend in. That's kind of my way of, looking at that. He explains it in a very different way, and if you want, I guess, a more deeper look at that, and I know that I've only done this channel like 4 of the chapters, and that's because I've read those other ones, and I pretty much want to. I'm not going to do those for now, at least. I want to move on to grammatology, and kind of go back to his roots a little bit and talk more about that. And I might in the future go back and talk about some of those other chapters. However, I'm only going to stick with the 4 that I've uploaded at this point. And I've been doing a few other videos talking about some of the littler concepts, or some of the main concepts in that book. However, in this video, I kind of just want to discuss the whole thing as a whole. He talks about madness. He talks about truth, and that's kind of a way to look at politics also, in that there is madness in truth. And madness, of course, is just that there's a play, that there's a back and forth, a marginalizing. You really can't be a truthful person all the time and be mad at the same time if you're a realist entirely. However, for Derrida, the concept of truth itself is a thing that is basically encased and contained within and around madness itself. So madness is pretty much that there really isn't a truth which is fixated or stuck there. And that the same follows for politics. And there is a community, there is a group of people which do exist, and there are groups of people which do have to live in the same place, or however way you want to look at it, of what the community is. However, there is a community, and that is the reason why political philosophers in the whole history of philosophy have tried to give you either a certain concept or a certain thing which we should have engraved into our government or politics or whatever, or they will give you a schema as to how government and politics should work, a la Karl Marx, or Max Weber kind of speaks out against something, and probably another one besides him who gives you like a schema. Immanuel Kant does that. Locke does that. But Derrida really does not. He speaks of the politics of friendship, and if you recall what the friend-enemy is, and how he says throughout the whole book, "Oh my friend, there is no friend," and that's because the friend and the enemy are traces or phantoms of each other. If you marginalize the concept of the enemy, you get friend. If you marginalize the concept of friend, you get enemy. Those two concepts are interrelated, and there's a split there. However, it's not really a split, if you know what I'm getting at here. And because of that, I talked about in a different video his talking about democracy, and how democracy is sort of a vexed thing, because democracy is made because of the enemy. Democracy is the majority of the people, basically, whether it be making laws or electing people to make laws. It's sovereignty of the people. It's the people choose, and that's the friends, the people who are not criminals and terrorists and what have you, choose to punish criminals and make laws against people who want to do heinous, bad things. So we have this friend-enemy split, which we're in the friend and the enemy kind of mesh like that, and you really can't split them apart indefinitely. And that's a lot of what's going on here. And there's still is a lot more going on that I haven't talked about here and that I have talked about. But there's a ton going on here that is really kind of important and really kind of neat to look at and understand. He does really talk about a lot of different nuances about things like hostility and stuff like that. A lot of different nuances of government and politics. But he doesn't give you a schema. He doesn't show you that. He doesn't really give you any fixated thing. He kind of reveals something to you about the nature of politics itself. That it is that there shouldn't be just a politicization, and that everything should always stay that way. But there should be a politicization and a depoliticization and a repoliticization back and forth, marginalizing, playing back and forth. And that's how things should be in anything, not just politics. If you read many of his books, that's basically what it's going to be. He's not going to give you a fixated thing about anything. He's going to give you that kind of marginalizing back and forth about it. However, in each book, he does it in a very interesting and worthwhile in a way that is definitely worth reading. So, I guess I kind of have explained it a little bit. If you think I should explain more about the politics of friendship, then please let me know down below. And thank you all. I appreciate it.